Good afternoon, everyone. So, I am the next discussant. My name is Mary Ann Bermal. But before we proceed to my topic, so I have here an entry ticket. So, let's all read. All students will not learn the same material within the same time period. Okay, so do you class agree that learners learn differently? Okay, yes. Why? Because learners have different learning paces, needs, interest, and cognitive abilities. Okay, so for me, as a student teacher, I don't really believe in one size fits all approach because this approach po fails to accommodate the reality that learners have different learning styles. So, hindi po ibig sabihin na kapag itinuro na natin yung isang lesson is i-assume na natin na natuto na silang lahat doon. So, like for example, nagturo ako sa inyo ngayon ng isang lesson. So, hindi po pwedeng i-assume natin na lahat kayo doon natuto or lahat kayo doon nakasabay. Diba? So, kasi nga po, meron tayong iba't ibang learning style. Learners po observe and process information differently. So, some may be visual or auditory learners, while others are learn best through hands-on activities or kinesthetic. So, some students din po may grasp idea quickly while others may need more time and repetition to achieve mastery. So now let's proceed to our topic, which is differentiated learning. Okay, so what is differentiated learning? Okay, so differentiated learning is also known as differentiated instruction. Differentiated learning means creating multiple paths so that students of different abilities, interests, or learning needs experience equally appropriate ways to observe, use, develop, and present concept as part of the daily learning process. It allows students to take greater responsibility and ownership for their own learning and provides opportunities for peer teaching and cooperative learning. So, it is an effective instruction that is responsive to students' readiness, interest, and learning preferences. Okay, so dito po sa differentiated learning, it seems like a teacher giving each student a custom fit for learning so that everyone can keep up and grow. So, what do we mean by custom fit? Okay, kumbaga, binibigyan natin yung bawat bata ng mas akma para sa kanila para lahat naman sila ay makasabay. So, halimbawa po, dito sa klase natin, or dito sa klaseng ito, pinag-aaralan ngayon natin is about animals. So, pwede natin gawin para doon sa mga visual learner, pwede silang mag-draw ng animal habitats. While doon naman sa mga kinesthetic learners, pwede silang mag-draw or they could build a model of a food chain. While doon sa mga slow learner, pwede natin silang isa-isahin or i-one-on-one para ilista naman nila yung mga basic animal needs. So, yung goal po natin dito is hindi para mapadali o maging mahirap yung trabaho natin as a teacher. It's about po to give each learner the right tools and activities so they can understand, use, and show what they've learned every single day. And also, dito po, inaalaw natin yung mga bata na pumili ng strategy nila kung saan sila mas matututo. According to Carroll and Tomlinson, differentiated learning is a process of ensuring what a student learns, how he or she learns it, and how the student demonstrates what he or she learned is a match for that student's readiness level, interest, and preferred mode of learning. Okay, so according po kay Tomlinson, ang differentiated learning daw po is a process of ensuring what a student learns, how he or she learns it, and how the students demonstrate what he or she learned. Differentiated learning po involves using assessment to gather information about students' readiness, interest, and learning preferences. Using this information to differentiate the learning environment, instruction, assessment, and evaluation. And selecting varied strategies to meet the particular needs of students. So, in different learning po, si teacher ang mag-a-adjust kung paano tayo magtuturo to fit each student's unique needs, at para magawa ito ni teacher, gumagamit tayo ng assessment like quizzes, surveys, and observation para ma-determine natin yung kanilang readiness, interest, and learning preferences. Tomlinson po differentiate instruction in 3 ways. So, first is the content. So, content, figuring out what a student needs to learn and which resources will help. So, what knowledge and skills students needs to acquire, and what is taught, and how all students are provided access to the program of study. So, content po refers to what a students need to learn. So, this cover po a specified scope of sequential topic within each learning strand, domain, theme, or component. And also, they answer po the question, what should learners know, or ano ba yung dapat malaman or matutunan ng bata. So, for example, ng content po is matching vocabulary words to definitions, and another one is differentiate fact from opinion. So those are an example of content. So the second one is the process. So process, how learner learns and makes sense of the topic or the content. How the students develop the knowledge, understanding, and skills to master the learner outcome. So, from the word itself po, process, ito na po yung proseso kung paano natututo ang bata at paano niya naiintindihan yung paksa or yung content. So, ang example naman po dito is yung mga textbook for visual learners and audiobooks for auditory learners. The third one is the product. So, product po, how the student is able to demonstrate what he or she knows, understands, and is able to do as a result of learning. So, this describes the abilities and skills that learners are expected to demonstrate, product, and performance in relation to the content standards and integration of 21st century skills. So, product po, ito na yung outcome. So, it is about what a student creates at the end of the lesson to demonstrate the mastery of the content. So, this can be in the form of test po, projects, reports, or other activities. So, for example po nito is, dun sa mga visual learner, they could create a graphic organizer. For the auditory learners, we can give them an oral report, and for the kinesthetic learners, they can build a diorama illustrating the story they had read. The third one is the product. So, product, how the student is able to demonstrate what he or she knows, understands, and is able to do as a result of learning. This describes the abilities and skills that learners are expected to demonstrate, product, and performance in relation to the content standards and integration of 21st century skills. So, dito po sa product, ito po yung outcome. So, it is about po what a student creates at the end of the lesson to demonstrate the mastery of the content. So, this can be in the forms of test po, projects, reports, or other activities. So, for example po nito, for the visual learners, they could create graphic organizer. For auditory learners, we can give them an oral report. And then for those who are kinesthetic learners, they can build a diorama illustrating the story that they have read.